Hi from Vienna. A couple of clients asked me to do a play-by-play recap of the OPEC meeting today, and here is beautiful Vienna behind me, the Park Hyatt, where a lot of the Arab delegates, actually also I think the Russians, tended to stay at the Park Hyatt. That's the hotel in the center of town. I guess quite a few of them, not least Mr. Novak, will have left immediately after the meeting, which by OPEC standards was relatively brief. Basically, we came in here with a strong market rumor that 2 million barrels a day was going to be a cut. That rumor only came out late yesterday and was double, I think, where I had been saying it's going to be 1 million. But obviously, late yesterday, the oil started tearing on the fact that it was going to be a 2 million cut. And somewhat late in the day, there was a rumor there was a problem between the Saudis and the Russians, and that maybe a lot of the cut would be actually a Russian cut, which obviously would be pretty bogus. So just as I was turning bearish, actually, Novak left the meeting, gave an interview and left, causing panic amongst the journalists. And the numbers came out as the press conference started with the Saudi oil minister, and it was a 2 million barrel a day cut, and let's say only 500,000 of that was Russia. So that was a bullish number. The rule of thumb coming in here was that to halve whatever the number was as to being the real cut. So, 2 million would be a 1 million real cut. That was the working number. Why are we so unsure about this? Well, the quota system is a total shambles. You've got guys like Nigeria and Angola who don't meet their quota and are now cutting from what they should be doing. So it's a little bit tricky to work out the exact numbers, but basically this is a pretty aggressive cut right into winter, which, as you may be able to tell, really hasn't started here in Vienna. The local refinery is not actually running for a lack of natural gas. It was part of OMV's profit warning actually on Q2 that the local refinery is not running. And, is there a land war in Europe based on what's going on in Vienna? I wouldn't say, but, hey. But anyway, the fact of the matter is cutting to this extent, even with the weakness in oil, is aggressive into winter and is absolutely basically a disaster for the Biden White House, because just as you got oil prices down, just as you got gasoline prices down into the midterms, OPEC pops up with an absolute whopper and a lot of uncertainty that will scare the market because we are going into winter. Distillate is driving the market as a result of European natural gas crisis, and that's obviously part of the oil barrel. So although OPEC made the point, the Saudi oil minister made the point, that oil is up a lot less than other energy commodities this year, in reality, we're in a very tight situation. The market was more or less balanced, but if you look at today's DOE data, actually we started drawing inventories again, even ex the SPR effect, which is major. 6 million barrels a week at the margin was the SPR, but you had an additional million barrels of inventory download in the US in crude alone this past week. So OPEC cutting 1 million into a million real into a tight market is very bullish oil into winter. It may not be bullish for the global economy. It probably won't be bullish for oil demand. But why did they do it? They said partly it's to do with the fact oil has not been as bad as other commodities. Partly it's because they need to maintain investment in global energy supply and security. And, partly they wouldn't commit, but I think obviously they want to put a floor on oil, and I think everyone's agreed, although the minister wouldn't say it, that the Saudis really want 100 because they love 100. So that's the bottom line, and that's what they've done, and I think they feel they have a lot of market power because guess what? They do. It was a bullish meeting for oil. It wasn't great for the world economy.